Hey guys, it's Robin, and this is my August wrap-up. So this month I read 7 books. One of them was actually the last day of July, but it didn't make it into my July wrap-up, so I'm going to throw it in here. 7 books is pretty good for me for a wrap-up. I haven't read 7 books in a while, so yeah, I'm excited about that I got to read so much this month, because next month I start school, and I won't really be able to that much, so that makes me sad. But anyway, let's just get right into this. So the first book that I said I actually read in July was Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I did talk about this in my July wrap-up and August TBR, but I finished it the last day of July, so I'm throwing it in here. I did talk about this in my summer book haul, my thoughts on this, so I don't really want to go into them too much again. If you want to know my thoughts on this, just go watch that video. But yeah, that was the first book I read. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. So the first book I actually read in August is A Totally Awkward Love Story by Tom Allen and Lucy Ivison. This book follows 2 students right after they finish their senior year of high school, and before they start college, and they are both virgins trying to lose their virginity before they go to college. So these 2 characters meet each other right at the beginning of the book at a party, and the rest of the book follows their relationships through that summer. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. There are a few things I disliked about it, and those would be that both the main characters kind of irritated me. I can't really put my finger exactly on what it was, but both of them irritated me. And parts of the book I thought were slightly unrealistic, but that's not really a big deal either. The other thing that bothered me about this book was that they never really built up the world, where these people were living, which I think is a big deal. It took me kind of embarrassingly long to realize that this book actually takes place in England, not the United States, like most contemporary books that I read do. So that was kind of interesting. It was cool to see different, not really different, I don't know how to explain it, but it was cool that it didn't take place in the United States. And then the things that I really enjoyed about this book were the humor. There were parts of this I thought were absolutely hilarious. There were parts of this book where they referenced both Harry Potter and Twilight, which are probably the 2 biggest fandoms that I'm in. So I enjoyed that. And then the thing I loved most about this book is the way that it portrayed relationships that these characters had. So their relationship with each other, their relationships with their friends, that kind of thing, their relationships with their parents even, I think are all really realistic for how people in high school or just getting out of high school would think and would feel about their friends and that kind of thing. So all in all, I really enjoyed this book. The second book I read was The Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. Again, I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars as well. Someone is calling me. Okay, I don't know where I was. My friend just called and asked if I wanted pizza. She's 4 hours away from me, and she thought I was back at school already. But that's next Tuesday. I wanted pizza. Anyway, this book takes place in a city where the city is divided into 2 parts now, the North City and the South City. And one is evil or controlled by the monsters, and the other is good and controlled by a man that is killing the monsters. So in this book, evil breeds evil. Basically, if there's a crime or anything like that committed, a new monster is born because of that sin that happens. So it follows kind of 2 characters living in this world. One is evil and one is good, and they end up coming together, and both of them are trying to kind of prove that they're not completely evil or completely good. The evil character is trying to prove, I think mostly to himself, that he can be good. He's not completely evil. And the good character is trying to prove, I guess, to everybody, because she is the daughter of, like, the ruler of this North City, that she's not 100% good, and her father is not 100% good, and that kind of thing. So this book follows them and that struggle, kind of, and their struggle to live in this world where monsters live, and they're trying to kill the monsters, and that kind of thing. I really enjoyed this book, gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I think it had really good points to it, like really good ideas and that kind of thing. And the only complaint that I would have about this book is how slow it started. This book was split into 4 parts, and the main action didn't start until part 3, which was about halfway through the book. So that kind of bothered me. The first half of the book was a lot of world building and character building, which I think is necessary, especially when it's the first book in a series, but I think it just went on a little bit too long. The third book I read in the month of August, I actually listened to on audiobook, and it is Finding It by Cora Carmack. This is the 3rd book in the Losing It companion series. I listened to this book while I was kind of cleaning up my house, getting things organized, starting to pack for school, and just needed something to fill the silence. So I picked this book. The first one was kind of just light and fluffy. This series is a new adult, I guess, kind of romance series. The first one was super like light and fluffy, so that's what I picked this one for. It was super light and fluffy too. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Like, I didn't think it was amazing, but I didn't hate it. Like, I enjoyed it as far as the story goes. I don't really have a lot to say about it. I enjoyed it. The next book I read, I actually also listened to on audiobook, and it is Room by Emma Donoghue. I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars as well. I think really the only reason I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars is because it's not really like my type of book. It's not something that I would normally read. I read a lot of young adult fantasy or young adult contemporary, and this is not that at all. This book follows a woman and her son, Jack, who have been living in this room. The woman has been there for 7 years. Her son was born here. He's 5. The entire book is told from Jack's point of view, and it follows them escaping from Room and learning how to live, readjusting to the world outside of Room, which is all Jack has ever known. So for him, it's learning that, like, things actually exist. Things that, like, his mom told him about are actually real. Even though she told him they weren't real, they only live in TV, and now he finds out they're all real, and it's kind of hard for him to grasp that and that kind of thing. I honestly, this book was so interesting to me. Like, I thought it was so well done. It's all told, like I said, from Jack's point of view, which was interesting because not only are you hearing it from a 5-year-old boy's perspective, but this 5-year-old boy has never seen any of this before. And he's super smart, so he understands it really well, but he doesn't know what any of it is. So that's kind of interesting. The only thing I wish was, like, certain aspects of it were a little bit deeper than a 5-year-old could understand. So you don't get all of that. You're kind of left to kind of fill in the pieces of what Jack doesn't understand about the world, which I think is also another interesting concept, but I wish parts of it have been told by his ma, just so that you got a little bit more information about it. The next book I read in August was Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. That rhymes. I'm sure I don't need to tell you what this book is about, but I will anyway. This book follows Selena Saradathian, who is an assassin. She is chosen by the Crown Prince to come and compete in his father's competition to become the king's assassin, the assassin for the king. So she's taken from kind of this prison, brought to the castle, and she competes to become this assassin, which will eventually lead to her getting her freedom back. This book has so much hype surrounding it. I've wanted to read it for so long. I'm happy I finally got to it. But I did have a few problems with it, to be honest. I was slightly disappointed with this book. The main character, Selena, just kind of bothered me, I'm not gonna lie. She was like, she's really shallow, I feel like. I don't know if that's like the right word. She just kind of irritated me. Like, she was taken from prison, where she was essentially a slave, and brought to a castle, which was like better than anything she'd ever lived in before. So she's technically still like a prisoner in this castle, but she was like fed, they train her to become a better assassin, that kind of thing, and she still complains about it. Like, girl, they just basically saved your life and you're still being a little brat about it. She just bothered me. The other thing that bothered me was like the love interest in this. I don't know why. It just kind of, I thought it was weird that like both of these men were so like in love with this woman who was super snobby as far as I'm concerned. I don't know. The one thing I think is interesting about this book is that it's a Cinderella retelling, which I never knew, but that's cool. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. And the last book I read in August, I'm actually currently almost finished. It's the 30th. I still have a day and a half to finish it. But it is The Bronze Key by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. This is the 3rd book in the Magisterium series. It supposedly came out today, but I bought it like 3 days ago. So I don't know. But I'm currently reading this. I will finish it by tomorrow, so I guess, I don't know. I'm currently reading this. I'm really enjoying it so far. That's all I have to say about it. So that is my wrap-up for August 2016. If you've read any of these books and don't share my opinions on them, let me know why down below. Let me know what you thought about them. Yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!